Hi, I'm Chris McGlumphy. I'm the executive director of the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble. I'm talking with JacobTV, composer in the Netherlands. Pittsburgh's going to hear some of Jacob's music in the next couple weeks. His piece, Body of Dreams and Lipstick, will be performed March 30th at a Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble event. April 27th, his opera, The News, will premiere in Pittsburgh. And both of these events are sponsored by the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust as part of their distinctively Dutch festival. So welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Chris.
Just as a general question, what do you think is happening with new music in the Netherlands right now?
There is a lot going on right now in the art world, in the Dutch art world in general, because for the first time in history we have a very right-wing government, and they are cutting back a lot of subsidy for the arts. As you know, we in Europe have different systems. We have a kind of a social system in which the government takes care of a lot of things for ordinary people, but also for the arts, for the sports, etc. This we don't have well, we do have very rich people in Europe, but these fundings that you have in the US, we don't have them. You know, that somebody who's very rich who has a kind of foundation, well, one or two maybe, but generally the government, the state takes care of that, and that is changing right now. We have a no-nonsense government who is saying, well, art is something, it's a hobby for the left-wing elite. That's what they say. This means that right now we are looking at a very, very serious cutback. We will lose a couple of orchestras. We will even lose our music center of the Netherlands. We have a publishing company, etc. We have a fantastic center in Amsterdam, and the Minister of Culture just wants to get rid of it because he says that's a hobby for the elite.
Wow. That sounds pretty rough. We've had periods of that, I think, here in the U.S. Sometimes as well. Well, how do you think composers are going to react to that?
We protested last June. We took a long march to The Hague, where our government is settled, and we protested, and it didn't help at all. They just laughed at us. They just laughed. And, you know, the art is flourishing in Holland, I must say. Holland has, I mean, if you look at the map, Holland is a small country, 16 million inhabitants, densely crowded, but surrounded by France, Britain, Germany, Scandinavia. We're in the heart of Western Europe. And especially Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, those cities, those major cities, have always been flourishing in the art world. So we have a lot of museums, we have a lot of contemporary music ensembles. Many students from abroad, also from your country, study here. I have several American friends who live here for 25, 30 years, composers like Ron Ford or Jeff Hamburg, who build up their career here. And so this is fantastic. And we try everything now to keep that. So we have a fantastic infrastructure for the arts. I can't complain about that, but right now we're really under threat of losing it all. You know, so that's the situation right now. But we're still hoping that the government may fall. Right now there's a crisis. So if the government falls, we may get a more left, a more cultural interested government. Who knows?
Well, in terms of new music, how do audiences generally feel about it? Is it in the U.S. it's something that is almost a niche art form? It can be hard to find audiences for new music. Is that the case in the Netherlands?
I think that's worldwide a problem. We try to do a lot by making music accessible. Making it accessible for a larger audience, and we try to do that in all kinds of ways, adding video to the music, adding lighting, making it more attractive, etc. So this is gradually changing, but I always say contemporary music is probably the least popular art form, maybe with poetry together. You know, I mean, if you look at dance, contemporary dance is very popular in Holland. They have their full houses. I mean, they're sold out all the time. But contemporary music, in many situations, we have a lot of stages for contemporary music, and usually there are, I mean, sometimes there are more people on the stage than sitting in the hall, which is a bad thing. And but in general, I think Holland, I mean, I can't complain. I grew up here. I was able to build my career as a composer. I have hundreds and hundreds of performances, and still in Holland also maybe about 100 each year. So that's not bad. That's not bad. But I must admit, my music is quite accessible. So they program my music a lot. But I have colleagues who make, well, rather intellectual music, which is not so accessible, and they're having a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your music, we're going to listen to The Body of Your Dreams and Lipstick in just a moment. And these are both pieces that feature boombox recordings, which is common in a lot of your music uses that. What is on the recorded tracks for Body of Your Dreams and Lipstick?
Well, to begin with Lipstick, because that's the oldest piece, I wrote that in 1998 for a choreography. A choreographer asked me to write a soundtrack in which a flutist could perform among the dancers on stage. And so at that time, the Jerry Springer Show was quite popular, also here in Holland, you know, through globalism, you know, American culture is everywhere. And so I've always been, in the late 90s, I was watching the Jerry Springer Show, and I was so interested in a way. I mean, you can laugh about it, but it's also very tragic, the way people expose their most intimate feelings before a live audience of millions, an audience of millions and millions through television. And so the kind of communication in those talk shows was quite interesting to me. And so I decided to use very small sound bites from a dialogue between a boy and a girl for Lipstick. And I use these small sound bites, especially the female voice, blends very well with the sound of the flute.
We joked about this once. Remember, it was like we joked about this once. Remember, it was like we joked about this once. Remember, it was like well, my friend asked me.
So that's how I started, with very small particles, syllables, sometimes words, and I wrote patterns for flute and voice, and then I decided that the whole piece was about communication, about human relationships. At that time, I saw a documentary about Billie Holiday, and I decided to even use small fragments from that interview with her. So you can hear her voice, you can even hear her quote one of her famous songs in which she is reciting, and I know you cheat. You know, a husband comes home with lipstick on his cheek, and then Billy says, and I know you cheat, and what love endures, skip that lipstick from your face.
Skip that lipstick. And I know you cheat. And what love endures.
And that's how I suddenly thought, well, this piece is about cheating and about relationships between people and the impossibility of people to really see each other and respect each other, etc. But it's an abstract piece of music. But if you want to dive into it, you can find these elements as well. So that's basically Lipstick. Then Body of Your Dreams, I wrote that 5 years later, commissioned by the German radio, Deutschlandfunk. And I'm fascinated by TV ads, especially the way things are exaggerated. And if you look at TV ads in Europe and compare them to TV ads in the United States, I think you guys have far more exciting TV advertisement. Your programs are interrupted all the time by TV ads. We don't have that here. So, we can still watch for an hour without TV ads, but over there, you have all these interruptions and this excitement from these TV ads. I find that incredible. This almost hysterical way in which a product is being recommended to the audience. So, at that time, I was looking at an ad about the Aptronic Pro, and the Aptronic Pro is a device that you wear around your waist, and it produces, I think, 3,000 contractions?
Yeah.
in just 10 minutes. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit or wash the dishes, and in the meantime, this belt is producing these sensations, and you get a perfect body. At least that's what the ad says. So you get a perfect body. You don't have to go to the gym. Just wear this Aptronic Pro, and you'll be fine. And so I decided to sublimate the idea of this commercial and turn it into a virtuoso piano piece in which this whole product is advertised in a hyper way, so to speak.
Wow! That's incredible! You're not down on the floor pounding out crunches or sit-ups. Wow!
You can feel the contractions.
That's incredible!
And you're not even sweaty.
That's incredible! You're not down on the floor pounding out crunches or sit-ups. Wow! You can pull that body right back. That's incredible! That's 3,000 contractions.
I can wear lower pants.
That's incredible!
I can wear lower pants.
That's incredible!
I can wear lower pants, which I usually have a problem wearing pants like
I've had a bad problem with this love handles on the side.
I could fix breakfast.
That's incredible! You can pull that body right back into shape with no sweat. That's the body of their dream.
At the same time, I must admit, you can find me in the gym at least 3 or 4 hours a week because I know it's healthy. But I also think that sometimes we exaggerate. Also from that point. So it's also a little bit a kind of an ironic view on our contemporary way of living, in which, I mean, if you see people working out on the street sometimes, you think, oh my God, this person could drop down any time, you know. Some people exaggerate that. And what I try to do in my music, although music itself is abstract, I try to picture the world around me in my music. And for that, I use sound bites. I use the technique that was invented by the American composer Scott Johnson, the speech melody technique. Yeah. Steve Reich made it famous. Mm-hmm. That technique, I developed it for myself. I believe that speech is such a beautiful source of inspiration, speech from everyday life. It has a rhythm, it has a melody, it even has a harmony, because people speak in keys, believe it or not. For instance, Martin Luther King, he spoke in A minor. Really? So, and that is so inspiring for me, you know. And well, that's a little bit of the background of both pieces.
Well, okay, well, Lipstick was in 1998, and Body of Your Dreams, I think, was 2003.
Yeah.
So, It's been a couple years since you wrote those pieces. Are those ideas, the things that you're doing in those works, is that still what you're exploring in your newer work?
Yeah, it is something that keeps me. I mean, I do two things in my music. On one hand, I write abstract music. I mean, I write a piano concerto or a cello concerto or a string quartet. I keep doing that. At the same time, I feel like Van Gogh, to name a famous Dutch painter, who went to the south of France and painted the ordinary people in their ordinary life. That's what I do when I come to your country. And I'm watching the American world around me, American media. I get inspiration from that. It has to be a different country. You know, that's also remarkable. When I'm in Japan, I have the same experience looking at a different society from the outside, being a stranger, inspires me. So it inspires me to make music based on words, syllables, or situations that people are in. And this can be political, this can be very intimate, very personal, this can be anything.
On April 27th, your new opera, The News, is going to have its world premiere right here in Pittsburgh. And it looks like some of the ideas you talked about are going to happen in this work as well, but it is also using video.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about The News then?
Yeah. The News was inspired 3 years ago, exactly 3 years ago. I was in Chicago. It was a very cold day, and I was walking along the ABC studios. They have a glass wall there, and you can look inside that studio and see the live broadcast going on. So I saw these anchors sitting there. I saw these cameras. I saw the flat monitor screens everywhere, and I saw at the same time the news being presented, as well as I saw the news on TV. That picture, I will never forget. That was in a split second, I knew what I was going to do. I thought, oh my God, this is it. I'm gonna make a piece about the news, about the media, about the way news is being presented. And now, 3 years later, we are going to bring this opera, because I call it an opera, to Pittsburgh, where the world premiere will take place by Fulcrum Point, which is the contemporary music ensemble in Chicago. And it's the same concept that I just talked about, using speech melody, but now video is an important part of it, which means that if you hear the voice of Sarah Palin, you see Sarah Palin also.
Bam! What do you make of that?
Is there a bounce or a decline?
The problem is two different things. Well, what they say and what they do are two different things. We'll have to see what they do. We're hearing what they say.
We are one day away from changing America. One day.
Broken finances, broken marriage, broken government, broken young people, broken dreams, broken churches, broken hearts, and bam!
What I do, it's not about me. It is longer lasting than that.
Della criminalità abbiamo fatto più di qualunque altro governo nella storia del paese. Non facciamoci spaventare. Viva l'Italia!
On va pas continuer à faire un génocide animalier comme ça.
In on Azaria, they said, look, anything that moves, kill it. Man, woman, dog, child, cat, whatever, shoot it.
Okay, I had no idea that nail polish is only good for 1 to 3 months. Exactly!
Dave, I like it when you're fired up. It's good. You're allowed to have thoughts and opinions, and that's why we come to you.
All right.
So, take care. Have a great day.
If you have any comments or questions about anything you see here,
Bam!
These types of conversations go on all around the clock. These types of conversations go on all around.
We got about 10 seconds left, Tracy. I want to kind of bring this full circle.
Tracy, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
We have 2 wide screens above the ensemble. We have monitors, etc. And it is a kind of recycling of all kinds of news events that I gathered in the past 2-3 years, and that I turned into arias, so to speak, because there's a 9-piece band playing. There are 2 singers, 2 ladies, an alto and a soprano. And these singers are the anchors. They're sitting behind a desk. They're interviewing a global warming denier, a scientist, or they're interviewing Putin or Sarkozy, or you name it. And so there's a kind of interaction. So it's live singing along with the voices of these celebrities, politicians, it can be anything. And it's an evening-length opera, and I'm very excited to bring that to Pittsburgh. And we're also very grateful because the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust set up this distinctively Dutch festival. And then the Andy Warhol Museum made my opera part of their Off the Wall series, which is quite interesting as well. And then you, with the Pittsburgh Music Ensemble, is doing this concert, which is fantastic. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you. We're all very excited to hear so much of your music here. It's something, the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble has played your works before, but we don't have too many opportunities to hear new music from Europe, and you're certainly one of our favorites. So we're very happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.